Hey, how's it going? It seems I may have already gotten out of the routine before the routine even started. But there was something that happened to me the other day that kind of sidetracked me completely from uploading videos regularly and consistency. And it was mostly a mental thing, but a physical thing happened that put me on the derail. One of the things I still have to keep up and maintain around the household is the vehicles, and two of them are fairly new, so there really nothing happens to them. But even if they did, I would probably have to take those vehicles to the shop. They're a little bit too technologically advanced. I think a 2013 Ford Fusion and a 2020 Ford Explorer. But my old pickup truck is a 03 F-150 four-wheel drive, so there was some wheel bearings that was starting to go bad on it. So when they started making a little bit too much racket, I figured I'd go ahead and change them. And it wasn't a very difficult process. It's not something that uses a whole lot of brain power to figure out, but just the bending and reaching and everything, I had sustained a back injury while I was working on that. And at first I thought it was maybe a pulled muscle or something in my lower back, but a little bit later it felt more like it might have been a pinched nerve in my back. I think the main culprit was the 35-inch mud tire I was trying to lift up to put back on the lug studs whenever I got finished with the job. So after I got it all buttoned up and put back together, went for a test ride, I could feel a little bit of a stinging in my lower back. So, and the pain grew a little bit over the next few days, so it kind of it sidetracked me from being able to walk at lunch. There was a couple of days I felt like I should walk anyway, so I shortened it down to 1 mile. I walked a mile, and by the time I get back to the vehicle after walking, I was feeling a little bit of back pain. So I knew it was still there, and I still needed to take it easy. And it made work a little bit difficult because it's hard to do anything when you're feeling pain. But it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't a significant enough injury for me to go to the doctor or be out of work for. I could still do most things, but I was just doing it in a very uncomfortable state. So after a week or so, I started feeling a little bit better. There was still some pain there, but I was able to be a little bit more mobile and do things. So I decided I needed to get over to my mom's house and start working on her backyard. My brother Brent was a caretaker of grounds over there while he was still alive, but over the last couple years of his life, he was his capabilities were going downhill, so he wasn't able to manage the yard work like he had in the past. So it kind of got away from him. And give a synopsis of the situation here. All this mess right here. This used to be a backyard. All this stuff is just kind of grown up. Some of the acorns from these oak trees are starting to turn into trees. Mama does have some decorative stuff out here, but probably the main culprit is all this bamboo right here. And now I feel like I need to try to tackle it during the winter time while everything's kind of dead, and get it back under control. So I had a day that it wasn't too terribly cold, wasn't raining. It was felt nice. So I loaded up the equipment and headed over to Mom's house and fired up the chainsaw and cut down a lot of the little growth that's been going on. Sometimes acorns will turn into little oak trees, and they would have been just getting bigger and bigger. So that was mainly what I did. I was using the chainsaw to try to whittle down a lot of the new little trees that was growing up. While I was working, everything was going fine. If I kept moving, I felt all right. I wasn't doing anything, too extravagant. I was bending a little bit with the chainsaw, cutting the trees, but after a little while of cutting stuff down, we needed to start piling things up. So we shut the chainsaw off and started pulling everything to a central pile to possibly make a burn pile soon.
Now, Chuck, you're going to have to get out of my way. I've already petted you. Yeah, don't knock me down.
I might have to saw some of this stuff up a little bit more.
Yeah, you handsome guy. You.
What
Okay,
about
now.
that tree? Is it?
You got to move, Tuck. I got to get some stuff up.
Is this tree done for too?
No, it's still.
It's just in its
It blooms.
winter hibernation.
Yeah. Tucker, you got to move. Move, baby. Move.
Ow. Ow. Oh. I couldn't get that weed eater put together because I needed a specific tool.
Oh, there wasn't one in his toolbox.
I was thinking to myself, there's no way. It's called a Torx bit. It's a little bit different. I don't know why they changed from like a flathead or Phillips head. They come up with this thing called a Torx bit, and they put them on cars and stuff. And I'm thinking, there's no way in the world Brent don't have any Torx bits. But a neighbor walked over to the fence, and we stopped and talked to him for a little while. And whenever that conversation was finished, my back had tightened up all over again, and it felt rough. I couldn't believe how bad it was hurting me after just a little bit of work. So that started another week of back pain, and it hurt worse now than it did initially. So, and it felt like it spread across the whole bottom of my back, right, left, center. My whole back hurt. And still, I was able to do things. I was able to go to work, and so I didn't go to the doctor for any of this stuff. I just figured, probably overdone it, needed to get rest, and take it easy, not do no strenuous stuff. And that's what I've done over the last maybe 2 weeks now, has not done anything strenuous or excessive, just to try to give my back time to heal up. And I think I'm about there. Looking back over the last few weeks of this back injury that has distracted me from being productive and doing things, it causes me concern for things that happen in the future, things that as I get older, how can I process things mentally when things happen. I still feel like I manage things well mentally inside of my cranium here, but I come to the realization that things happen, and it does park me a little bit. I'm concerned about how much of an abrupt stop that I go through whenever an event happens. I realize that it has caused me a little bit of a mental strain, because I did just completely stop everything while I was trying to nurse this back injury. And I'd like to try to get out in front of these events that are going to happen in life, and find the intestinal fortitude, the drive, the determination to continue to move forward, be productive, do things, because I still have to care for my wife, even during sickness and pain. And I haven't fallen on that, but there's a lot of other things that have to happen too. If it had been in the springtime or summertime, the other things would have needed attention, yard work. And I just sometimes feel concerned how a little event can put me on the sidelines unnecessarily. So I just wanted to take this episode, this moment, and do some self-reflection, and try to create growth out of it, to make a better person out of myself, out of what some folks might think is a trivial or trivial event or something not worth even paying much attention to, but the stakes are pretty high in my situation. So I'm going to try to take all these things in life and learn and grow from them. And if there's things I need to do different, reflect on that and take a different approach with it. So if you've clicked on this video and managed to stick around to the end, I want to say thank you, and I hope you'll come back and see me again. See y'all next time. Tell you what, I have spent many a day and night up in here working on four-wheelers, bicycles, motorcycles, and just hanging out. What I'm going to try to accomplish today is convert my brother's Echo weed eater into a bit of a brush cutter. I'm a bit at a loss for words. My big brother Brent has always had every tool you could ever think of or need, but for some reason I can't seem to find a Torx bit amongst his collection of tools. Somebody must have stole it, because there's no way that Brent did not have any Torx bits.